SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, September 4th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Joining me shortly in the Finis Monitor is Sam Dorman. He's a diver at the University of Miami and starts this collegiate season as a 3-time national champion, having captured those titles at the recent USA Diving Summer Nationals. And Sam joins us now on Skype from Miami. Sam, it's good to see you. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. So how are the first few days of classes going for you?
It's getting a little hectic. Things are starting off in the right foot. I'm just picking up books, doing all the kind of maintenance stuff when school starts, you know.
Is that a good sign that it's hectic at the start?
Yeah, usually it's just doing tedious things that need to be done, turning in papers, beginning classes, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and you're a mechanical engineering major, correct?
Yes, I am. This is probably going to be my most hectic semester. I have 5 engineering classes on my plate, so it's going to be a long semester, but it'll be good, definitely.
Give me an idea of the type of classes an engineering major takes, especially at this point in your major.
I'm actually doing an emphasis on internal combustion engines, so I'm taking internal combustion engines, system dynamics, engineering design 1, other classes. I got 2 other classes. They're all pretty math-intensive classes, but they're definitely fun. They're very rigorous and they kill me sometimes, but it's definitely worth it in the long run.
Well, I know, having been a student athlete myself, that it takes a lot of dedication and time management, but I'm sure by now you've got it all settled.
Yeah. Time management is the key to success, I feel like, during the school year.
Any idea what you want to do as a career with the mechanical engineering degree?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued with engines and how they work. That's why I'm doing the emphasis, and I'm hoping to work somewhere in the industry with engines and their performance and efficiency, and hopefully make them more efficient.
Is that like for planes, cars? What kind of engines?
Cars. I'm pretty involved with cars, so that's what I'm most interested in.
Very nice, very nice. Do you have any cars that you repair on your own? Have you done anything like that before?
I've done minor repairs. I have a 2002 Mustang GT that I kind of play with, but when school starts, I usually don't get the time to do any of that, usually just during the summer. So
well, that's not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
So in athletic terms, you're a redshirt junior. So what caused you to sit out this past season?
Last year I had a shoulder injury. I had to get my rotator cuff and labrum scoped out. So I was out for the year, but it was definitely worth it. Very successful year, even though I had to have that. I recovered very well, and I'm getting back on the right foot now.
Well, obviously, like you said, you have recovered well. You're doing well, winning 3 national titles. But that coming during the Olympic year, how did you feel not being able to compete when everybody else that you compete against were going for spots on the Olympic team?
Well, I was actually able to compete at the Olympic trials, which is qualifying for the Olympics.
Okay.
So I had the chance to make it, not unfortunately, but that's just more motivation for me to try harder and work as hard as I can.
But you weren't able to go to the NCAAs this past March, right?
No, I was not able to go to the NCAAs.
Okay, so that's got to be motivation after seeing people like Christian Ibsen and others, really dominate. You probably are now, especially after winning USA diving titles, a little more motivated to show how well you could stack up against the best in the country.
It is. It was actually taking that year off for me was very beneficial because I got a lot of work done that I needed to get done. I mean, I would say I needed to invest more time in my diving, and that gave me the chance to invest more time before competing. So it was a very successful year.
Were you working on new dives? Was what you were focusing on?
Um, Not, I wouldn't say necessarily new dives. Since I was younger, I had difficulties doing these two categories, backs and reverses. And it gave me the time to really, we worked on those so much. And it all paid off finally. So at Nationals, backs and reverses went great for me.
Why are the back and reverse dives so difficult for you?
Um, in the diving world, you could say backs and reverses are more difficult. There's five categories, and you have to do six dives. And from those six dives, four of my front entries. So I go in the water, seeing the water, and only two of them are backs and reverses, which are back entries. And back entries for me, just since I was a kid, were difficult. I just had an issue with it. Rotating backwards and not knowing where I was at was very difficult for me to pick up and get a hold of. But I'm finally starting to catch on and get the hang of it.
Well, it's good to hear. So in terms of USA Diving Nationals, how were your back dives and your reverse dives compared to your forward dives?
They went very well. During the meet, actually, I hit my reverse 3.5 on 3 meter for nines, and I think the greatest feeling in the world was coming up and seeing my coach just go insane. So.
Well, that definitely has to be a sign of improvement for you. And speaking of your shoulder, how is that doing? Any pain, or is it 100% healed now?
Shoulder's doing well. It's definitely, it needs a lot of maintenance. I always am having to do like shoulder exercises to all the upkeep for it, because it'll start to ache and hurt during practice, and it's pretty much telling me, all right, Sam, you need to keep going on your exercise and stay on top of things.
Is that are shoulder injuries common in diving?
Yes, very, 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 very common, I'd say.
Is that just because of the entry into the water and things like that?
Yeah, your shoulder goes through very awkward motions when you're diving, and they just tend to get hurt, you could say. I have two teammates that have shoulder injuries also, so.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a big disability, I guess, to being a diver. But I guess if you can get it to the point where you can at least feel comfortable with doing the dives, I'd say it gives you a little more confidence.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of your teammates in Miami, it's something I've always found very interesting is that Miami has a full women's swimming and diving program, but for the men, it's only diving. Now, I would imagine, because it's been that way for a long time, that wasn't a factor for you when you were thinking about colleges to go to.
Mm-hmm. It actually played a definite role on my decision, because in the end, my coach has the say on whether if I need to compete in a meet or not. So if I'm not feeling good for a meet, I don't necessarily have to compete in a small dual meet to try and earn points for our swim team that we do not have. So it gives us more say in what we need to do, and there's not another swim coach telling us we need points and you need to dive and you need to dive. And it allows me to be more, it plays more in my hand.
So as a team aspect, though, does that, how do you feel about not having more guys on the team to kind of bond with?
Well, I mean, my first 2 years, I was the only guy on the team. There was all girls diving and swimming, and I was the only guy. So, I mean, it's got its pros and cons. I definitely grew. My relationship with my coach grew a lot because of that. So, and your relationship with your coach is the most important thing, I would say, when you're diving. It worked out great, I'd say.
Well, let's look ahead to this NCAA season. One of the names that I mentioned already was Christian Ibsen, who's a very prominent diver in the NCAA scene right now. How do you think your chances are for getting a top 8 finish in NCAAs, which I know you haven't done before?
Yeah, I haven't, and I think these past few meets have been a good benchmark on how things are going to go, and I think the chances are very high. I don't want to throw myself out there, but I'm definitely it's my goal to try and beat him. That'd be awesome.
Well, and now that you've got those back dives and reverse dives down, I think you're halfway there.
Exactly. I just got to nail those and we'll be good to go.
So how does it feel to be called a national champion now?
I mean, I'm just a normal kid, just like everyone else. You get a lot of attention from it. I'm not really used to that, so it's a little different.
Well, I know Miami diving has a lot of great history behind it, and I could tell that you're on your way to being a big part of that, Sam. So congratulations on not just the titles, but coming back from surgery, and we're looking forward to seeing how you and the rest of the team do this collegiate season.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you at NCAAs.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. Swimming World covers news from all aquatic sports on swimmingworld.com, Facebook, and Twitter, so be sure to stay in touch for the latest headlines. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.